Hello and welcome to The Print. I am Triya Gulati and we are in the city of Wazwan. Well, I think most of you will get that hint. Yes, we are in Srinagar. And if we talk about Kashmiri food, it is way beyond Wazwan. There is Rogan Josh, there is Yakni, a variety of preparations in pulao, curries, tikkas, kebabs, and so much more. But in the last couple of years, especially 3 4 years, a Turkish wave has swept Srinagar. Yes, a lot of Turkish restaurants are popping up on the scene. Multi cuisine restaurants are including Turkish dishes on their menu because the customers are looking for the same. But this Turkish wave did not start out of the blue. One fine day, somebody woke up and said, I want to eat Turkish food or I want to sell Turkish food. So, what is the story behind it? While we are in Srinagar, we will find out. Diriliş Ertuğrul became a cultural phenomenon in Kashmir during the 2019 internet ban. For many viewers, the show was more than just entertainment. Fans say it helped them reconnect with aspects of their own cultural identity, elements they had long assumed were borrowed from Pakistan. But the fascination with Ertuğrul didn't end when the episodes did. The craze soon began shaping everyday life in Kashmir, even influencing the region's eating out culture. Turkish themed cafes and restaurants started opening up across the valley. But for Kashmiris, whose culinary identity is deeply rooted in the rich, spice heavy flavors of Wazwan, adapting to comparatively milder Turkish dishes like Adana kebabs or doner kebabs wasn't easy. Still, that hasn't stopped people from embracing Turkish culture in their own ways through restaurant decor inspired by Ottoman aesthetics, binge watching Turkish dramas, or even dressing like characters from the show.
Year and a half to 2 years ago, right, the owners of this place wanted to, the idea was to basically reconnect with the Central Asian roots,
Okay.
right, and sort of import that here via food, if you may, right, and so they sat down and they even visited a lot of these Central Asian countries, and put together a set of ideas, which is essentially what you see here today, not just in terms of food, but also the ambience and everything else that surrounds this place. So it was 5 to 6 months of sort of brainstorming, sitting on the table, putting ideas together, and then conceiving it, and then basically executing it, which in itself was slightly challenging because this was a very novel idea, right? Particularly to a place like Kashmir, which essentially, at least until 2 years ago, was relatively, I want to use the word conservative when it came to pushing boundaries,
Okay.
Vis-a-vis the palate that people have here. And so, the husband and wife, who, Mr. and Mrs. Lone, decided to go ahead with it. There was a lot of apprehension. There was a bit of scare as well as to, whether people would actually accept it.
Yeah, because you're putting that kind of money.
That's right. That's right. And so of course, yeah, a lot went to it. Not just money, much more than that. It was because they were wanting to do it in its true spirit, in a sense. And so, it took, as I said, a lot of trips to a lot of Central Asian countries, to Turkey as well, and then finding the right authentic chefs who would then prepare the food, as it should be, as it is, right? So to bring all those, and the logistics and the staff and the PR and everything else that comes along with it,
Right.
it took quite some time. But then, I'm very delighted to tell you, we actually had a very overwhelming response.
Right.
Much more than we had
And
anticipated.
I think a lot of credit would also go to, as you said, that because they traveled extensively and they when they kickstarted the restaurant, it was with a Turkish chef.
That's right. So we actually went and we got in touch with this celebrity third or fourth generation Turkish chef. And then, there were many rounds of deliberations, and then he was very kind enough. We actually brought him here. He was here with us in Kashmir. And then, that's how he basically helped us execute and implement our ideas,
Right.
settle things down, train the rest of our staff, and sort of bring us up to speed. And I've got to tell you, as I said, people loved it.
Right.
It was new, and we had phenomenal response. And from that point on, we decided that we were going to branch out from starting off from the Turkish cuisine, as I said, into the Turkic, the more Central Asian sort of cuisines, right? And then we branched out. That had equally good response. And
But
so,
still, at the core, the restaurant, if I took, like when I took a look at the menu, Turkic cuisine is a part of it. Overall, it is a multi-cuisine restaurant.
So the Terrace is a multi-cuisine restaurant. We do all other kind of food. You know, your Indian cuisine, your Middle Eastern cuisine, with equal seriousness and quality and standards, right? But yes, the starting point was the Turkish and the Turkic cuisine.
So we visited, a bunch of restaurants which position themselves as Turkish or Turkic restaurants. People are coming from, from far-flung areas to relish the Turkish food here.
I can assure you, almost on daily basis, we have people coming here who are now almost regulars from all 10 districts of Kashmir, right? And it's not just the Kashmiris. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of tourists who are actually visiting Kashmir. They often stop here for food. Over and above that, we also have non-Kashmiri people who perhaps work or live here. They're regulars here. They love it. They're enjoying it, and they're repeat customers.
For restaurant owners, authenticity became key not just in food but in experience. Yet, the challenge of introducing a foreign cuisine in a place so deeply attached to its own food traditions remains constant. Spoken extensively about Turkish culture, Turkish food, and everything. Like you said, during COVID, there was this particular Turkish show. One Turkish drama has this kind of impact. I mean, what was it in the show that sort of
Actually,
that Kashmiris were instantly able to connect with it?
food. Because we all Kashmiris are food lover and food brings you closer. Especially you have seen the series. What is my personal shortage?
Have you watched it?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, as COVID में तो यही काम था. What were you doing? What the seed I used to like is that campfire. They sit all together in a village or in somewhere near the mountain, in a countryside, and they burn and the fire. They do campfire and then they eat, they share the food because food brings you more closer, and that is one of the reasons that the food has brought we are driven by what fascinating for them. What fascinates me from that series is the food, because the way the Turkish food was presented in the series was amazing. Well, it's very difficult to survive on one menu here because we Kashmiris, our feast is not complete without Wazwan, and it's when you go out you can only hardly have n number of people who will go and who will have Turkish or grilled food, and they'll feel satisfied. Otherwise, if you will see our ancestors, the generation ancestors, or the people who don't like change, they are obsessed with Wazwan and they only prefer having Wazwan. So, and plus one more thing, it's very difficult to survive here as a restaurant owner because if anyone comes to me and consults me like, yeah, I want to open a restaurant, I say, bhai, if you're having passion, go for it. Otherwise, put that money in the mutual funds and it will be better returns than that. Because to open a restaurant, you should be having extremely passion.
Why?
You should be passionate.
Why is that so?
Because it's very difficult to run. It's like having a wedding every day. You have to meat भी लेना है, आपको सब्जी लेनी है, you have to get oil, you have to, every day the same process. So you need to be really passionate about running a restaurant. So maybe there are consequences. People were not able to manage it, and the menu. You are absolutely right. They can't survive on the one menu here. It's a very small place. 20% or 25% of people usually go out and eat, not the rest of the people. So, and Kashmiri don't mind paying you 10 rupees extra. One of the biggest challenge in the food industry is to retain your staff. It's very, very difficult to retain the chef because whatever will be the reasons, and if you are selling or pretending to be if you are selling any specialist cuisine, I believe you should be having a specialist chef. What I have seen, like कोई चाइनीज़ वाले ने टर्किश बना लिया, टर्किश वाले ने ईरानियन बना लिया, you know.
But restaurant owners have finally cracked the code. A little bit of everything serves the purpose just right. Because for customers, the pull of Turkish food was never just about taste. It was tied to memory, emotion, and a shared moment during a time of isolation. This restaurant, which is called The Persian, and I have with me Mr. Sunil, who is the general manager here. सुनील, थोड़ा रेस्टोरेंट के बारे में बताइए. यहाँ पे कौन सा, ये एम्बियंस से तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि टर्किश पर्शियन खाना यहाँ पे मिलता होगा, पर क्या कोर्स आप सर्व करते हैं?
एक्चुअली हम यहाँ पे टर्किश कुजिन सर्व नहीं करते हैं, बिकॉज जो टर्किश खाना होता है थोड़ा सा ब्लैंड होता है, तो कश्मीर में वो खाना एक्चुअली ज़्यादा चलता नहीं है. तो हमने जो एम्बियंस है हमारा, ये हमने टर्शियन और पर्शियन की मतलब लाइक वैसे बनाया हुआ है. बाकी हम जो खाना सर्व करते हैं इंडियन, चाइनीज़ एंड कॉन्टिनेंटल करते हैं.
अच्छा, तो जैसे आपने एम्बियंस यहाँ का टर्किश पर्शियन इंक्लाइन बनाया है, तो उसका क्या रीज़न है? क्या कल्चरल इतना सिमिलर है कश्मीर और टर्की का, और ये कुछ सालों, 2-4 साल में ही ये वेव आई है, तो उसका क्या क्या रीज़न है?
एक्चुअली जो पर्शियन और कश्मीरी कल्चर है हमें थोड़ा मिलता जुलता है. तो आप देखिएगा ये कश्मीरी स्टाइल में भी लगता है और ये थोड़ा सा हमें पर्शियन स्टाइल में भी लगता है. तो दैट्स वाई हमने ऐसा एम्बियंस दिया हुआ है यहाँ पे.
और क्या रीज़न है कि आपका ही रेस्टोरेंट नहीं, बहुत ऐसे 4-5 रेस्टोरेंट, कैफ़ेज़ छोटे बड़े बहुत आ रहे हैं जिनका एम्बियंस टर्किश है, पर खाना शायद वहाँ पे पिज़्ज़ा मिलता है, पास्ता मिलता है, कुछ कुछ जगह पे शायद कुछ टर्किश डिशेस भी मिलती हैं, पर प्रिडोमिनेंटली लोकल कुजीन या कॉन्टिनेंटल कुजीन या इटालियन कुजीन ये सब मिलता है. तो
एक्चुअली यहाँ के लोग जो है, जो लोकलिटी हमारे यहाँ पे, हम तो ज़्यादा या तो वाजवान सर्व करते हैं. लाइक एक्चुअली हमारा जो भी क्यूजीन्स है हमारा स्पेशल रहता है कश्मीर में सिर्फ वाजवान. तो वाजवान या ज़्यादा अगर देखा जाएगा इंडियन और चाइनीज़, नथिंग एल्स. बाकी टर्किश वर्किश यहाँ पे लोग पसंद नहीं करते हैं. पर्शियन भी यहाँ पे एक्चुअली लोग पसंद नहीं करते हैं, क्योंकि हमारा खाना जो है स्पाइसी थोड़ा चाहिए, वाजवान टाइप का. तो इसीलिए हमने एक्चुअली एम्बियंस दिया हुआ है पर्शियन स्टाइल में. बाकी जो खाना है हमारा इंडियन.
स्टार्ट में हमने टर्किश प्लेटर्स, दाना कबाब वगैरह हमने वहाँ पे मेन्यू में हमने इंक्लूड किया था. तो विद टाइम वी हैव इवैल्यूएट, मतलब
प्लेटर में मतलब अडाना कबाब के अलावा और क्या क्या था?
बहुत सारे टर्किश थिंग्स थे, जैसे हमारा स्वीट्स में भी हमारे बकलावाज वगैरह है, तो बहुत सारी एक वाइड वेराइटी थी तब. Yes.
तो अभी जैसे हमने अगर आपका मेन्यू देखा तो बहुत कॉन्टिनेंटल पिज़्ज़ा, पास्ताज और ये सब चीज़ें हैं. तो ये शिफ्ट आपने कब किया और क्यों किया?
तो जो पब्लिक की जो डिमांड होती है, हमें उस हिसाब से अपने मेन्यू को क्यूरेट करना पड़ा, एडिट करना पड़ता है. तो ये 4 साल का जो टाइम था, इसके दौरान हमने हमारे मेन्यू को काफ़ी एडिट किया विद द रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ द पीपल्स. एट द एंड पीपल, कस्टमर इज़ द किंग. जो वो चाहते हैं हमें वही रखना है. राइट.
तो आपने चेंजेस मतलब टर्किश कुजीन को अपने मेन्यू से धीरे धीरे जब हटाना शुरू किया, तो व्हेन डिड यू स्टार्ट, मतलब आपने कितना टाइम टेस्ट किया कि ये काम करता है या नहीं करता है, टर्किश फूड काम करेगा इस मार्केट में या नहीं काम करेगा?
देखिए, इट टोटली डिपेंड्स ऑन द मूड ऑफ द पीपल. वो कैसा खाना चाहते हैं. कभी एक ऐसी वेव आती, कभी लोगों को कोरियन फूड पसंद है, तो हमें अपने आप को बहुत फ्लेक्सिबल रखना पड़ता है. कभी लोगों की जो डिमांड होगी, कोरियन फूड होगा, नॉर्थ इंडियन फूड होगा, इटालियन होगा, तो हमें उसके हिसाब से थोड़ा सा हमें फ्लेक्सिबल रहना पड़ता है.
तो आपको लगता है कि टर्किश फूड की वो जो वेव थी कोविड के बाद, जब सब कुछ खुला था, मार्केट खुली थी, रेस्टोरेंट्स खुले थे, लोग बाहर आना स्टार्ट हुए थे, तब एक टर्किश फूड की वेव थी श्रीनगर में, और अब क्या वो कहीं ना कहीं लोग थक चुके हैं टर्किश फूड से? क्या पैसा कहेंगे?
थक तो नहीं गए, नॉट रियली. पीपल आर रियली फॉन्ड ऑफ इट. बट किसी हद तक हमें देखना होता है कि जो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ पीपल है वो क्या चाहते हैं, तो उसी हिसाब से हमें अपने मेन्यू को एडिट करना.
तो आपके हिसाब से क्या बहुत नीश मार्केट है टर्किश फूड की श्रीनगर में?
दैट्स द करेक्ट वर्ड, बहुत नीश.
Change, however, is slowly finding its way in, driven largely by younger Kashmiris. In the coming years, people are hopeful that international cuisines will enjoy equal popularity, if not more. You know, you also mentioned, and I think that was like a common notion. Among all the people I spoke to regarding this story, and they all said that whatever attraction this cuisine, Turkish or Turkic cuisine is getting, is from Gen Z, right? back in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, if you talk about Korean and Japanese food, that also is being, that culture is also being driven by Gen Z, right? Yeah, so that culture is also being driven by Gen Z, and that is turning out to be pretty successful. So why is the Gen Z here not able to drive this Turkish or Turkic culture?
पॉपुलेशन ही कितनी है यहाँ पे? पॉपुलेशन कम है, और जो हमारी नई जनरेशन है, लाइक अभी दे आर हैविंग अ वेरी गुड एक्सपोजर, वो बाहर से पढ़ के आ रहे हैं एंड दे आर अडेप्टिंग टू इट, एंड दे आर द ओनली वन हु आर ड्राइविंग दिस चेंज है. अगर आप देखोगे टर्किश रेस्टोरेंट्स हो, मिडल ईस्टर्न रेस्टोरेंट, चाइनीज, मोस्ट ऑफ द जनरेशन जी go and visit there. They are already occupied with the generation Z only. And yes, अब population भी कम है, and you know, we don't have that much money eateries over here, because maybe people don't like change in Kashmir. They only prefer to have Wazwan. But the upcoming generation who have traveled around the globe and have got more exposure, पहले तो पता ही नहीं था Turkish cuisine क्या है. Now social media has played a very vital role, especially the influencers who travel around the globe and bring all the food on the global platform.
The Turkish wave in Kashmir shows an appetite for the global, for novelty and storytelling on a plate. This sort of semi-trend is a beginning, and maybe in the coming years, the Kashmiri dinner tables will have space for other cuisines alongside the Wazwan.